Before we get into the review, can we just talk about how bizarre a name Resident Evil actually is? Naming a game franchise. Like, what is there? Is there evil in your home? Is there evil in your residence? It's so bizarre. Like, I know it's a Japanese, like, made name. Does anyone deep it? Well, that's why it's called that. Finally got it around to playing and completing fully my first proper, like, Resident Evil game, being the original 1996 release by Capcom on the original PlayStation 1. And yeah, what are my thoughts on it? I want to backtrack a little bit just because I kind of want to share with you guys my experience with the horror genre in general, and there isn't that much, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I kind of purposely avoided the horror genre in general growing up. I was a bit of a wimp, I can't lie, it is what it is, but just in general, when I like consuming media, whether that be books, movies, comics, games, TV shows, I don't like being stressed and being filled with anxiety while I'm experiencing something. I want to sit back and enjoy stuff. And you don't get that with horror movies and stuff. You're always on edge. And nah, I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling of uncomfort. Like, literally, the only things I can recall consuming when it comes to like the horror genre, and I wouldn't even consider them horror, to be fair, they're more like subgenres in like the zombie like area of media, is the Last of Us games and The Walking Dead. And even though there are horror elements to them, I usually see them as dramas first, with like horror slash like zombie overlays around it. But other than that, nah, like I've seen one Scream film and that's it. So yeah, the bar is very, very low for me. But growing older, being more of an adult, I guess, you want to like experience more genres, experience more style of like storytelling and experiences in general. I thought, hey, let me finally like delve into the horror series. So this year I kind of made it a goal to like read Stephen King books, for example, watch more slasher flicks, and get into, of course, horror survival video games. Resident Evil probably, if not being the most popular in the gaming landscape as a whole. So yeah, this game came out in 1996, so it was, I want to say this is like peak Capcom period. Mega Man was pretty big at the time, I can think. The Mega Man X series and Street Fighter, of course. I guess those were like the two juggernauts at the time for Capcom. The horror genre itself was very, very infant at the time. You didn't really get like any spooky, scary experiences in general that I can think of. Okay, the story of RE1 is pretty straightforward. A series of gory attacks have taken place on the outskirts of Raccoon City. Several people have been violently murdered. The STARS unit, the rescue and special ops team, basically get sent in to investigate. The first team that gets sent in pretty much get wiped out. We don't know what happens to them. They all get killed off mysteriously. And now the A team, your team, pretty much gets sent in to figure out what the hell's going on. And yeah, displayed in the opening cutscene, your team gets attacked by like wild vicious dogs that are like mutated and zombified. Okay, let's actually talk about the cutscenes here. The budget for this game is very, very low, I can't lie. This feels like a B movie, like a bad B movie, but it's in that category where it's so bad it's good. The acting in these scenes, the voice acting as well, is not good. Is not good. Fair enough, this is several years before Metal Gear Solid 1's released, but still, this is not good, I can't lie. But it has its charm to it, given the novelty of the game.
No! Don't go!
Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a 90s thing where like throwback stuff like this, whether that be like acting, movies, games, where like the acting can be bad, the voice acting can be bad, it can be very low budget, but still has like this really like fun charm to it, because something like this would not go well today. I don't know, I just find it very fun. But regardless, your team get caught up, you get thrown into this mansion, you're trying to hold on, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, trying to recuperate, but some of your guys go missing and you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. You play as two characters in the story, 99% the same. Only the gameplay experience is slightly changed. You play as Jill Valentine or you play as Chris Redfield. Jill is who I chose. She is what I believe to be the easy option, while Chris being the hard option. Jill has more like slots in her inventory, which is the main reason, and she's got a lockpick. Even though Resident Evil, to be fair, is seen as a horror game, this game overall is a puzzle game. You're going from room to room, door to door, solving minor and major puzzles with the odd enemy here and there. And it's just a sequence of different puzzles leading up to each other. As this is the game being the game that it's first in the genre of survival horror, it's the first like ever to do so, I'll give it a pass. This game has aged a lot. For a 1996 game, it's aged a lot. If I had to tell someone, would you play this? Like, would you go back today and play this? Unless like you're like a purist like me, I would say no. I'm gonna be honest. I'd rather have you guys play the remake, the GameCube remake. I think it's ported over to like the PS4 generation and modern like PS5 generations right now. Yeah, this game's pretty basic, I can't lie. It has its charm, but it's basic, if you know what I mean. It's something I would say, like, I get why a lot of people start off with RE2 and they don't really talk about this. The controls are very clunky and janky. It's tank controls, it is what it is. Okay, so let's talk about like the experience overall. As a horror game, I think the game does its job. You're on your own, alone. Okay, you have one side character that comes in and out. Minimal music. All you hear is ambience pretty much. It's the sound of your footsteps, the odd clock that ticks, and like the odd like groan of a zombie or a monster. Pretty much tense the entire time. Every time you open a door, even, okay, it's a menu, it's basically a loading screen, but you have like this like eerie cutscene of a door opening every time you like move into a different room. That's eerie. I was always tense playing this game. It did its job. I was, oh my god. Every time you hit a safe room where you could save your game, it was the biggest breath of fresh air ever. I think the only one thing I'm worried about my experience going into Resident Evil 2 is backtracking. There was a lot of, I think that was the one main thing that frustrated me with this game in particular. Like, backtracking for me goes wrong most of the time. Like, I understand like people say like it's a Metroidvania style of like format, going back and forth, getting new items that you didn't have earlier on in the game, unlocking new doors and stuff. That's cool, but like, I don't know, man. I didn't find it fun. Again, it was more like, flip's sake, I have to go back. Although, again, it forces you to pretty much memorize the map as you traverse through this house. It was just, again, for me, it was just more frustrating. And I'm hoping we don't get that in RE2. That's just my one big wish going into the next game in the series. Controls as well, very limited. They use their limits in creative ways to enhance the scary like experience for the gamer. Me, unlike most games where you can like rotate the camera around you in like a 3D environment, this game's camera has like it's a fixed camera. Every time you move through a corridor, through a room, through a door frame, camera changes in a locked perspective, so you can't really see what's around the corner. So you really, like, it forces you to like slow down and take your time, take a couple of seconds to try and like just hear out if there's like any like traps, booby traps, or like any zombies around the next corner. It does its job there, I can't lie. Especially for the first time, you can't run and gun. And speaking of running and gunning, you can't even do that at all. Yeah, you have a limited amount of bullets. This is where like the survival mechanics kick in. You have a limited amount of bullets, you have a limited amount of weapons, and you have a limited amount of item slots. The most stressful thing is, and again, I think this was like intentional due to the limitations of the game itself, is that you have a limited amount of saves. You know how flipping insane that is. I've never experienced that in a game where you have to be like decisive as a player to choose whether to like play it safe and save your game now, therefore removing your token, or take the risk going further along the story, building up your save tokens, however risking the fact that you could die and then you have to pretty much restart all the way further back. When it really pushes your decision making skills, which I found really cool. But yeah, this definitely feels like your typical like B movie horror flick. As a game, you're in a mansion, your friends go missing, you have to try and find them, slightly big boss at the end that you have to beat, and then ta-da, end of game. But yeah, there's nothing really much for me to say. It's a very simple game. If I were to recommend anything for you guys specifically, I would say don't play this version. I would say play the GameCube remake, where I think, again, visually it's improved, the voice acting's improved a lot. Oh my god. It's a lot more spooky and scary in terms of its aesthetic. The mansion in the PS1 version feels like a 60s, 70s mansion. The bloody hell, the remake version definitely goes for a more of a gothic, like Victorian, like early 20th century aesthetic. Probably makes the game even more scary, I can't lie. I ain't playing that. It has that B-movie novelty to it with the cutscenes and voice acting, but we're in that day and age where you can just go on YouTube and watch it. You don't have to actually pay out money and play the game. But the game did enough of a job for me to actually want to get into the franchise more and play RE2 specifically, because I know Leon Kennedy being a very big fan favorite in the franchise. But still, it was really nice to see the origins of these characters. Like, this is the birth of the lore of the Resident Evil franchise. I know it gets a lot more bombastic and bigger, and the scale grows so much more larger in future titles. But again, it's the origin story. But yeah, I guess that's me rambling on about RE1. I think RE2 is the thing that's really gonna like make me fall in love with this franchise. If not that, definitely Resident Evil 4. But we'll get to that very soon enough. Thank you guys for watching. I shall see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe. Peace. Shoo.